Okay, guys, what's the other things I needed to announce too? Some of you may know Bev Lujan. She has moved into a assisted living place in Casa Grande, and she would like to attend church whenever she can. She doesn't have any way to get to any transportation to get to and from church. So if you feel led to help her out and get her a ride back and forth as you come and you go, or if it's something you can do, just let us know. We'll get you her phone number and kind of coordinate with her when she can and when she can't, or if you can, you can't. But she's asked, and I said that I would announce that need is there if somebody can meet it. Also, Tuesday night this week, home group at Gary and Mary's house. There's directions on the table. If you'd like to attend our home group Bible study, again, Tuesday night, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock? Wow. 6 o'clock, Tuesday night, Mary and Gary's house. There's directions. There's a little map on the table. Get you one. Come and join us, and we always have a great time. Okay. Excuse me. Here we go. Thanksgiving dinner coming up on Thanksgiving Day right here at the church. This has been 3 years in a row that we'll be doing our Thanksgiving dinner. If you'd like to help out, set up, cook, tear down, serve, all those things have to be done on that day. Put all this back together for the following weekend for services, but if you'd like to help with that, get with Dessa. She's got a sign-up sheet. Also, if you don't have any place to go, this is kind of an idea, something that the Lord put on Dessa's heart 3 years ago. There's a lot of people that just sit at home on Thanksgiving and they have no place to go, and we felt that they do have family. We are family, we're God's family, and so we put together the Thanksgiving dinner, and they come. And so if you know somebody that does just going to sit at home on Thanksgiving Day, tell them they're most certainly invited and welcome to come. And there's no obligation, as you would hear on a TV commercial. You just come in, have your Thanksgiving dinner, and you can even take leftovers. Amen? Because we always seem to have a whole lot to do with. So we thank you for everybody that helps out with that, and we look forward to another wonderful year doing it. Okay. Where are we? Think how many times donkeys are mentioned in the Bible? So now we know 18 times donkeys are mentioned in the Bible, and that's just a little bit of intelligence you might not have had before. And that gives you 18 scriptures to go home and look up. Amen?
Amen.
All right. Well, with that thought in mind, did you know that a horse has a 350-degree field of vision? You know, we have a peripheral vision of about 180 degrees if it's really good, maybe a little more, but a horse's is 350. Almost always, he's got two blind spots, one in the very front, one in the very back. That's why if you walk behind the horse, he's inclined to kick, because he don't see you, well, he don't know what's back there. He hears a noise and, hey, what's back there? If he's going to look straight forward, he'll pick his head up and raise up his ears so he can focus. Now, a horse also has what they call monocular vision. He can look at two different things.
Wow.
He can focus on two different things, one with each eye. That's called monocular vision, and he can do the binocular like we do, but he has to turn his head and kind of line his eyes up to do that. So it's amazing that we think about, you know, God always tells us to stay focused on Him and to be looking to the light, and our vision is important, how we need to see. We can't see in the darkness, and God gives us this scenario of always being focused, looking at, being aware of. And when we think about a horse and their vision and the parameters of their vision, it's like, wow, they can see a lot. We can only see 180 degrees, and look how confused we get. You know, and birds of prey like hawks and owls, they have a vision that's about 8 times as good as ours. They have, when they say you have 20/20 vision, that means you can see something at 20 feet that the normal person can see at 20 feet. 2200 is you have to be at 20 feet where somebody else is 200. That's legally blind in the state of Arizona. But the birds of prey are like a 220 vision. We would have to be within 2 feet of it to see what a bird sees at 20 feet. That's how acute their vision is. It's very, very, very sharp. But they don't have as big a field as a horse does. So there's a lot of things that we was talking earlier today about all the things that God does and how He does it and how perfect it is and how it all works so well. And He gave us a binocular vision, like I said, about 180 degrees, maybe a little more. But you know, we see even with that much, we get distracted real easy. I remember when my dad, when I was a kid, he plowed our corn with a. He just did it because we had a tractor, but he liked to do it with a mule. He liked to hook up a mule and just an old single plow, and he'd plow the rows of the corn out. But you know, you had to put blinders on that mule to keep him focused, because something would spook him, and he runs and he's powerful and he tears up corn. So, but see the whole deal as is being focused, being able to see, is what God tells us to do. He says you got to watch what you're doing. You got to be where you're at. You got to know what's going on, and you got to stay focused on Jesus. We got to stay focused on where He's taking us, or we're so easily distracted. There's so many things happening. Des was talking to Leanna the other day. She said, you know, it's amazing how you can be somewhere and just look up and watch to see how many people look up. They want to see what you're looking up. Leanna was telling us a story about this deal that they showed. She's seen it on TV or somewhere. They put up this rope like you would have in a bank or something. Somebody went out somewhere and just put up a rope with like 3 little stanches, and then one person got in line, just standing. Pretty soon there was 2 or 3 people in line. Pretty soon there was a whole bunch of people in line. And the guy goes up to some of the people in line and said, what are you in line for? I don't know, but everybody else is. We get so distracted, but with our vision gets us so many times. We see things, and we try to adjust, we try to calculate, we try to figure out what's going to happen next, when God tells us, you got to stay focused on me. You got to know that I'm leading you. You got to have, your faith has to be that no matter what you see, you'll still trust me. No matter what's going on around you, no matter how things look to you in your vision, you're trusting me. You know, a bird of prey or a horse, they trust their vision 100%. That's what they have. And that's how we come up. We learn to see, and we learn to focus on things, and we learn to adjust, and we know how to kind of avoid danger and avoid things by what we see. But when we're thinking about our spiritual journey, our spiritual life, we got to stay focused on Jesus, because we can't see that. We can't see what's going on around us spiritually. We can't see the battle that we're in. We can't see all the things that are happening. Jesus is the only one that knows how to get us through that. And so when we begin to pray, and we begin to, he's talking with Greg and Susie about praying and asking God to guide. Well, if we're going to ask Him to guide, we've got to be willing to follow. We've got to be willing to say, okay, well, this doesn't look safe. And look, I'm a little apprehensive about what I'm seeing, but we have to just go ahead and go. And there's so many things in our life that He will bless us in if we learn to walk in that faith, and then to walk in that trust that no matter what happens, and I've used the example before of tithing. That's one of those areas of my life. It took me a long time to get in the reality of it and learn to trust it. Because if you don't trust it, it won't work. You have to trust it. You have to know this is a principle of God. This is what God tells me to do. And if I'll just learn to do it, He'll take care of it. And He does. And it's just in every part of our life that He teaches us through His Word. If you'll just learn to trust me. Philip, the name Philip is actually translates or it represents a horse lover, somebody that's fond of horses. And with that correlation with the way a horse sees and what a horse's vision is, Philip had this wide range of vision too. And he would always looking at the circumstances, and he would forget the power of Christ. Philip was one of the first ones that Jesus picked up with. Let's go to John chapter 1. John 1 and verse 43 through 46. And the day following, Jesus would go forth into Galilee and find Philip, and saith unto him, Follow me. Now Philip was beside the sea of Andrew and Peter. Now, Jesus comes to Philip and says, Okay, Philip, follow me. Now Philip, he just blindly begins to follow Jesus, but Philip has two major things that happen in the time that he spends with Jesus that are really what we would call an eye-opener. An opportunity to really kind of get a focus on who Jesus really is. He travels with him, and he traveled with him a good long time. He probably spent as much time with Jesus as anybody, and he's seen a lot of things that Jesus did, but his vision was he was seeing too many circumstances, and he got his focus off of Jesus, and that's what happens in our life. We see the circumstances, and we begin to wonder, well, how's God going to do this? How's this going to play out? It's not looking right. But we got to remember our vision is just way too much. We take in too much stuff with our vision. Too many things register in our mind just from what our eyes see. We see somebody looking up and we can't even help ourselves. Pretty soon we're looking. Pretty soon our curiosity, what's that? Curiosity killed the cat. I can't remember what. There's some animals we had on the farm, and their curiosity was just, or an antelope. When you're out antelope hunting, they're always a long ways off. But if you'll just wait, if you have the patience, their curiosity gets the best of them. They just can't stand it. If you want to, when we used to go antelope hunting, the best way to get one is take a handkerchief and tie it to the antenna of your car, and just wait. They see that flapping in the breeze, and they'll see it, and their curiosity will get crazy, and they'll start wandering. We was out antelope hunting one year up on the ranch, and Matt had, I don't remember what he had. I mean, we didn't even relate it to that. But we're out hunting, and the antelopes are out there, and they're just running back and forth this way, and they're about 300 yards out there, too far off to try to make a shot, especially with them running. And all of a sudden, one of them breaks out and just starts running straight at the truck. Just in a dead run. He's just running as fast as he can. And one of the guys, I thought, well, I'm not going to shoot him in a dead run. I want him standing still, nice, calm, relaxed, okay, don't get excited. But this other guy shot him. And there was a feed bag on the back of the truck. And the breeze was blowing it. But his curiosity got so, he just couldn't resist. He had to go see what it was. And sometimes our curiosity gets the best of us when we rely on our vision to guide us, and we get off in a track that where we really get off track because we're focused on something that's distracting us and not on what we're supposed to be focused on. focused on things that the world has put out there, focused on some little guy on a little board dancing out there, and it gets our focus. Thank you for bringing that, Maxine. I'll be able to use that a lot. But see, our focus gets just because of our vision, and all of a sudden, and that's what happens in our walk with the Lord. He's guiding us and He's leading us, and we're praising the Lord. We're having a great time, and things are going great. And then all of a sudden, something happens, and our vision gets us distracted. We see something that gets us off course. Well, Philip let this happen too. He had two very, very big times in his walk with Christ, and we're going to look at one of them in John chapter 6. Now, Jesus is about to feed 5,000 men and their wives and their children. But just a little bit. And he asked the disciples, well, how much money we got for food to go to feed all these people? Now here's Philip. And Philip, he's already forgotten who Jesus is. He's forgotten what Jesus can do. He's forgotten about all that. All of a sudden, he's focused on what's right before him. And in John chapter 6 and verse 7. Philip answered him, 200 pennyworth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may take a little. Okay, this is all we got. And it's not going to be enough to feed all these people. His vision has already got him distracted. He's already forgot. And instead of focusing on Jesus, he said, okay, Jesus, what do you want me to do next? He said, well, Lord, you're telling me to do this, and I don't have enough to do it. He doesn't realize that Jesus can provide, that Jesus will provide. If Jesus says, I need you to do that, our response is, yes, Lord, I'd be happy to do that. Because that's when we begin to see the power and the might of our Savior and the power and might of what He can do in our life, when we begin to realize that He can do it regardless of how little it looks. That's just what we see with our eyes. We don't see what's going on around us. We don't see what He's about to do. Let's look at another instance in John 14. In verse 8. Now here he's going to demonstrate his lack of faith again. Because Jesus is telling the disciples about the Father, and he's going to go, and Philip stands up and says, but Lord, just show us the Father and we'll believe. Let me see Him. I need to see it with my eyes. And like Gary and I was talking earlier today, when Thomas made the comment, well, when I see Him, I'll believe it. And Jesus told him, yeah, Thomas, you believe because you've seen me. Blessed is the one that can believe without having to see. Blessed is the one that will walk by faith. Blessed is the one that will say, you know what?